Money. It can be defined as an easily transportable, durable, divisible, recognizable, and universally acceptable medium of exchange in which you can store your economic energies until you're ready to deploy them. With that in mind, here are some really interesting facts about money that most people probably don't even know. Changing the US $1 bill to a $1 coin would save taxpayers $4.4 billion over 30 years. It costs the US Mint almost twice as much to produce each penny and nickel than the coins are actually worth. In fact, in 1 year, taxpayers lost over $100 million just by producing these coins. Drug lord Pablo Escobar, who is said to have had a return on investment of over 20,000%, had such a staggering supply of cash that his bookkeepers wrote off 10% of it annually because rats would eat it in storage or it would be damaged or lost. If you have $10 in your pocket but have no debt, you are wealthier than 25% of Americans. You know that blood you donate? It's sold in the open market. Turns out it's a $4.5 billion a year industry. The Apple Corporation earns about $300,000 per minute, while McDonald's rakes in a measly $75 million a day. Maybe that's where they get their signature slogan from. Back in 2005, Americans spent over $15 billion on jeans and spent $61.4 billion on their pets. Gambling generates more revenue than movies, music sales, spectator sports, theme parks, and cruise ships combined. Assuming he didn't make any more money from this day forward, if Bill Gates spent $1 million a day, it would take him an unbelievable 218 years to spend his entire fortune. Paper currency can successfully transport a live flu virus for over 2 weeks. In the 1920s, hyperinflation got so bad in the Weimar Republic in Germany that it became more cost-effective to burn currency for fuel than to use it to buy firewood. It was so worthless, children played with it, streets were littered with it, and others used it as wallpaper. The metallic odor of coins is actually skin oils decomposing after touching the metal of the coin. Though most believe Federal Reserve banks are governmental organizations, they are not. Instead, they're privately held banking monopolies whose monetary policies don't need the approval of a president or anyone else in the executive or legislative branches of government. Matter of fact, the Federal Reserve is no more federal than the folks over there at Federal Express. At the present time, there are 182 official currencies worldwide. The largest U.S. currency note ever printed was the $100,000 bill in 1934. This bill bears the image of President Woodrow Wilson. American dollars are sometimes referred to as bucks. The term buck comes from a time when deer and elk bucks were traded for goods and services before paper money. It's nice to know these days that you don't have to pull a deer carcass out of your cooler while you're in line at the grocery store just to pay for a loaf of bread and some Skittles. As long as you have 51% of a banknote, the Office of Currency Standards will replace it with a new one. If you had $1 trillion and you spent $1 every second, you'd be spending $86,400 per day or $31.5 million per year. It would take you over 31,000 years to spend that $1 trillion. Really stop for a second and wrap your brain around that fact. In the 1930s and 40s, an elderly man named Edward Mueller, who produced very poor quality counterfeit $1 bills bearing the name Washington, managed to elude the Secret Service for 10 years before being arrested. They eventually made a comedy film about him, and he made more money on the royalties from that film than he had in his entire counterfeiting career. The largest counterfeiter of US currency is North Korea. 5% of lottery ticket buyers buy 51% of all tickets sold. Somebody needs to break it to these people that they have a better chance of becoming the President of the United States than they do of winning the lottery. The Coinage Act of 1792 established the U.S. Mint and made coin defacement and counterfeiting punishable by death. More than 2 million Americans live on less than $2 a day. Under USC Title 18, It's against the law to write on or in any way deface U.S. currency. Looks like somebody didn't get the memo. All paper currency is made from a custom blend of 25% cotton and 75% linen. It's actually closer to cloth than it is paper, and it's illegal for anyone outside the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to use this blend. All 50 states are listed across the top of the Lincoln Memorial on the back of each $5 bill. 90% of all U.S. currency carries traces of cocaine, and 94% carries pathogens and other contaminants like fecal matter. To deal with the hyperinflation that reached the ridiculous level of 231% and saw the price of bread rise to 300 billion Zimbabwean dollars, the Zimbabwe government began issuing $100 trillion notes, the highest denominated banknote in the world. 8% of the world's currency is physical paper. The rest is only numbers printed on a screen. Most people have heard of the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Well, in 1910, the Federal Reserve System was hammered out in secret by a group of private bankers and their powerful representatives in order to take over the entire monetary system of the United States. And they succeeded on December 23, 1913. The meeting was conducted at a private resort owned by the dominating financier of the day, J.P. Morgan, at a place called Jekyll Island, Georgia. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and share it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you'd like to see more videos like this, just click that big red subscribe button down below, and as soon as I upload a video, you'll be one of the first to see it. Also, if you did like this video, maybe you'll like some of my other videos. You can watch those right now, which will open a link in a new tab just by clicking on any one of these links right here. Again, thanks for watching my video and supporting this channel, and you guys have a great day.